Almost at 100 subscribers. Should we make a special YouTube video?
Yeah, we should.
That'd be funny. We'll just start it off and be like, it took 6 years, but we finally did it.
Averaging 18 subscribers a year.
On this pace, we'll take over the globe and. I just had my ID as our thumbnail. I had to upload my ID for something on our computer. And I just, it's normally the first one on there. We hadn't fit. Here we are. All right, we're live. The stream is up. It looks good. Description's ready. All right, you ready?
Start asking people to subscribe.
Yeah, I need to too. Should we ask someone and then when they do it, be like, "Oh my god, you're one lucky."
No, I just meant like on the show. Like, you know how like you listen to or like you watch a YouTube video and they're like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's one thing we've never done. I put on when I make the YouTube videos, the thing I make.
Yeah.
It has like a 2-second thing pops up and it shows like like the mouse will click and it'll be like subscribe.
Yeah.
Turn on post notifications. I have like 2 corny of those right when we end the pod and right when we start the pod.
Yeah.
But I do need to say it. I think I should say it. But I hate the people that say it. Like the best way to do it is to say it right before your stuff. I hate the people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
If I say it at the end, who is it actually gonna reach? Unless you're already liked and subscribed at that point.
Right.
All right, let's get this show on. Oh, I almost. Give me 1 second. I had to grab out the notebook.
In the notebook, the pics.
Yes, here we talked about those, right or wrong. All right, ready.
Yep.
How do you want to do the games? First chronologically or chronologically?
Yeah, let's do chronologically. We'll get to the picks as they come up. It's
all right. Start
every game.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. We're gonna get started in 3. I sound like Marge Simpson. 2. 1.
Over.
Oh me. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
Doing all right, Chris. My voice is all scraggly. I was yelling terrible things at these refs at the Georgia basketball or Georgia South Carolina basketball game. We'll get to that in College Corner.
Oh, it's gotten worse in like the last 20 seconds.
I know.
At first, when I logged on, I thought you were having like internet issues.
Just sounds
I
scraggly.
was like, "Oh, we're really gonna deal with this?"
No, we're not there yet in the pod.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I mean it
happens to the best fans out there.
Yeah, the good fans. They come back.
Only yell for so long.
We'll get there. It was a 9 p.m. game. It was a lot of fun, but it was pretty heartbreaking. Anywho, we got plenty of NFL to take care of first, and we're starting off. We're gonna do it in chronological order. We're just gonna jump right into it. And I think this was like probably one of the saddest days in podcast history for us this Saturday.
Just talked about it so much.
We just love the Joe Flacco narrative way too much. And I like if he didn't throw 2 back-to-back interceptions, maybe they were in this game. Pick sixes, sorry, not interceptions. Pick sixes. CJ Stroud lit up their defense too.
And it's like it was like the perfect Joe Flacco way to go out too. Like I'm gonna go down with a bang. And
oh yeah,
like the first pick, I was like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
And then 2 seconds later,
he gets
another
hit,
one.
Like no one's open. Ball just flies up in the air. As soon as the ball left his hand, I was like, "No way that this ball is not picked."
I said as he's getting hit, I was like, "We haven't had that Joe Flacco pick yet." There it was.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But honestly, like the bigger narrative out of that game, I think, is how bad the number 1 defense in the NFL looked. It's a rookie quarterback.
You were on this.
Were you not shocked by that?
I was shocked by it because I thought this defense was going to be able to maul the offensive line of the Texans and be able to really get after CJ Stroud, which they didn't. And you called this on the episode to put some water on our Joe Flacco hype. You were saying, look who they've played. They've played no one good at least. And
when they did play Houston, it was against Keenum and Mills.
Yeah. So I still had faith. I won't backtrack and say I didn't have faith. I wanted this so badly, but it was a crushing dream. At least it was over, as you said, with a bang, as Joe Flacco should go. He should go off in the sunset.
He's done, right?
Yeah. No, he's not. Yeah. I don't know if he's. Is this the end of Joe? Is this the last we see of him in the NFL?
I think so.
With all the QB
I don't think he's coming back.
With all the QB parity that happens in this league, you think he doesn't have one more shot in him?
I guess it can be forced, but I think he captured lightning in a bottle for a few weeks. Like,
oh, it was his
Lindsay team is going to sign him expecting to win 5 in a row, like the Browns did.
No, I don't think that at all. But and even when he was like, unless he won the Super Bowl and literally was flawless, I don't think his starting job would have ever I don't think there was any scenario where he's a starter next year. But
no, yeah, of course. But I think even for him, he's probably like, all right, like
give it a break.
Like,
yeah, this is it.
He's a realistic guy,
honestly, and this was it. This was his shot. He wasn't gonna win another. He's never gonna win this other.
And it was like I still believe that they had a legit shot.
I agree. I do feel bad that we've spent nothing. We haven't even mentioned CJ Stroud. He played fantastic.
Yep.
He is back in the conversation for greatest rookie of all time and shit like that. That's just how this NFL narrative stuff goes. But a very impressive win. He's now the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game. Just really impressive rebuild by the Texans. When you look at it as a whole, the fact that they're going into Baltimore as a 4 seed, I mean, they won their division. They had a home playoff game, took care of business there, and are completely ahead of schedule. What worries me is let's not go be picking CJ Stroud for MVP and saying he's a dark horse and all that crap, because we did the same thing to Trevor Lawrence last year. The same thing, is it not?
Trevor Lawrence was not as good as CJ Stroud, though.
No, I agree. But let's let the kid breathe.
Yeah.
Let's just let him breathe before we make him.
It is good that he has Jordan Love on the other
Yes.
side of the bracket. And even though he's not a rookie, he's basically a rookie and doing basically the same thing. So it's almost like the attention's divided.
Yeah, it is.
between
It
the
is. That's a great way to put it. And it maybe that helps. Like I just don't. I hate when these guys. And it seems like CJ doesn't seem like he doesn't care about any of the noise. It doesn't seem like he. I mean, he said before the game. You see his quotes like during the week. He's like, "Oh, we suck. We got no chance."
CJ Stroud said that?
Yeah, he was like,
Or he,
"Nah."
said that referring to what the media was saying.
Yeah, basically, he was just like, "Look at." He was like, "Oh, I mean, we have no shot at this anyways, right?" So, yeah, let's not like. I think there's something about these guys. They can't. I don't want to put them on a pedestal already. I feel like it just makes them like the Baker Mayfield effect. He's got to be doubted.
Yeah, but again, like I know him and Mayfield are such different quarterbacks. Like Stroud
I agree.
Just watching him play, it's like, man, it just looks so easy. Whereas Baker, and one of my friends texted me this, he said, which was an interesting observation, but he was like, I like watching Baker play because it looks like he's trying so hard to throw the football. Like you watch Josh Allen or like CJ Stroud throw a ball, and it's
It's effortless. It's effortless.
And Baker, it's just not like that at all.
The
Like Baker, it feels like every big game that he has is like that's everything he's got. Whereas like CJ Stroud, you feel like you're never gonna reach the peak.
with Stroud, it's like all year, even in his games that he was struggling or a couple bad, he didn't have very many, but a couple bad games. All of his passes looked like he was in control of what he was doing, and some of these quarterbacks, that does not look like that. So that alone, I can see. I can see why people are going to be doing the dark horse MVP and everything, but let's just let him breathe. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, like he's in the conversation.
We did this halfway through the year, didn't we? We put him
I know. But then they flashed the numbers, like if it was before the game or at halftime or whatever. But he like led the league in fewest interceptions and some other stat. I was like, what the hell? How did I not realize this? Like he threw 5 picks all year. Remember we were looking at that on the pod on Friday. I was talking about my Flacco interception bet, and then just parlay it with the other quarterback. And I'm looking back at his stats, and he's threw 3 picks against the Cardinals and 2 the rest of the season. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, it's funny because like we weren't doing this pod when Andrew Luck was a rookie, so there's not like I can't say we can have a good comparison between watching the way we watch now and the way we watched when Andrew Luck was playing. So I'm not going to pretend like we can debate that, but it will be interesting. I hope he keeps it up and there's no sophomore slump, and I hope the Texans keep riding. They're a fun team to root for, and
yeah, they are an easy team.
Should be fun to see them.
I just don't like rooting for Houston though. It's like those same people are Astros fans. That bothers me a little bit. Just a little bit.
That's true, but there's so many teams in
like,
Texas.
I guess they've never won a Super Bowl. Or...
Yeah, I was gonna say, and there's so many teams in Texas that like the fact that they're Texans fans, like you got to give them some credit for that. They're not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, you could be a Cowboys fan. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
All right,
he did miss that one throw. I forget who. I think it was.
And that was one, but it was like one of the best throws though. He was just missed him by a hair.
It looked great.
Yeah, it was like a flick of the wrist, and it just like was just.
It's funny because like that's what he did at Ohio State. Like that's you put on the tape, and it's like, oh, he's just hitting wide open deep guys.
That's why everyone was worried about him. He's like, oh, I never made it a second read.
Yeah.
All right, So in this game, I had a wise pick of the Browns. Of course, I did. Didn't work out.
We both picked them to win though, so that's already 0-1. Didn't get better for either of us, really.
Yeah.
Mainly me.
Let's move on to the next game. This one, I tried to explain. The Dolphins just there.
I outsmarted myself here.
They are one thing goes wrong and they're screwed.
I know.
They can't get anything going after
It
one thing goes wrong.
well, I tried to convince myself that this narrative of the cold was overblown. Um, they couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. And the first time that they did, it was an interception. And the rest of the game, outside of the one Tyreek play, which was an awful throw by Tua, and Tyreek just bailed him out, somehow scored a touchdown on that. After that, I was like, okay, like, if he can make plays like that, then you got a puncher's chance. And never even got another chance to do it. They threw, I feel like 40% of their passes at least were behind the line of scrimmage.
Oh.
And like the Chiefs knew that that was coming, and they just pressed up all game and made every single play. Not that it was that difficult, because there was no threat that the ball was going to travel past the sticks on any given play. And it made me want to gouge my eyes out. It was so hard to watch. Like, this team who scored 70 points against the Broncos, how could they look this bad?
What do you do with Tua? You have every weapon around him.
I mean, yeah, I know.
You have him for a
And
5th-year option.
you have to get the one seed. I think that's what has to happen. You have to be at home. And even at home against a good defense, I don't trust him. Like, thinking about it, the AFC, you're going to have to go to Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Baltimore
in January. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, are we just going to do this thing where every time they have a game that's cold, you just write them off?
And like the end of the year, every year it's cold.
Either. Yeah, but he's still Mahomes, and he's been there before, and I don't know what you do with him. I'd say you let it ride again, and if it turns into a situation where he's like a complete liability again, then you have to move on. I think he's earned at least another year, though.
I agree. I think what the issue is the Daniel Jones scenario, where instead of the 5th-year option, they extend him and don't want to do like the franchise tag and the 5th-year option. And you got to have confidence in your quarterback. I wouldn't have confidence in Tua Tagovailoa. I would let him know, like, you're on. Like, this is your chance, buddy. You got to prove us that you're the starting quarterback, and you got to prove us that you can win a playoff game when it's cold and when there's elements, and that every time something goes wrong, it can't just be the tires fall off,
Mm-hmm.
I think teams are getting way too.
It's one of the worst offensive games that I've seen from the team who was the best offensive team in football this year.
And
it's hard to believe.
It really was hard to believe. They couldn't even really run the football because they were down by half.
Okay, that's the other thing. But they were never down by a lot.
No, they weren't down by enough.
The one time, I think it was the Tyreek drive, when they had like a sustainable drive put together, was when they were feeding it to Mostert. And then you bust out Tyreek. And it's like, I think A-Chain probably had like 2 carries.
6.
Mostert had like 8.
8.
6, okay.
But still.
But they were never, it didn't become like a blowout until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, there was no reason to give up on the run.
One drive where they really committed to running the football.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just like a McDaniel thing. Like, it's not his offensive philosophy. I don't know that much about offensive philosophy. But it just felt like you have to adjust a little bit, right? Like, with your Patriots helmet, was that like
no, I just wanted to no. I just wanted to make it like a little more sportsy. I saw it was back there, and I was like, oh, I'll move it up a little bit.
But like, you have to know going into a game like that you're probably not going to be able to throw the ball that far down the field, and you can actually attack this defense using the run. Teams have done it before. Like, bubble screens once every set of 3 downs. Like, it's not going to work. And it didn't.
They reminded me a lot of the.
Tua was awful. Like, I feel like they could have called it better.
They remind me a lot of the Eagles, in this game.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the Eagles later, but similar stuff where there wasn't very much adjustments. The game plan was pretty stale the whole way, and it was pretty obvious what they were doing every pass or every play.
Mhm. Yeah.
So the Chiefs now have to go to Buffalo, which we'll get to. They're going to be, I mean, as you said, Mahomes he missed a lot of passes in this game.
Mhm.
But he played like Mahomes. Rashid Rice, I mean,
Yep.
is he the guy that
They
just
didn't
stepped
sack him
up?
once.
They're
Yes.
they're getting their boy Sky Moore back, which we hate because he wears number 24, but I'm sure he's better
Yeah.
than Justin Watson and Marcus Valdez Scantling. So they'll get some help there.
I love how they did just try one deep bomb to VS.
Got to.
They're like, oh, we haven't thrown it to him all
Gotta
game.
try.
I'll
Yeah.
chuck it once.
Gotta give him the
I
Hail
was
Mary
thinking the
ones.
fourth quarter. Yeah.
And
But yeah, Rasheed Rice, like he looked like the best player on the field.
it's maybe he's the sleeping giant for this team. And he got a little bit going halfway through the season, and there was a little bit of buzz, but he kind of fell off again.
Mhm.
So if they can get him hot now, it's the perfect time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's all. Like that's all it takes to win in the playoffs. Any sport, just have to have guys that step up, get hot at the right time.
This game, you had a wise pick. Miami +5. Woof.
Yep, it was same mistake I made with the Chargers last year. Ready to trust them.
I had under
Get ahead of the
44.
curve.
Wasn't wise
Failed.
pick, but under 44 hit if you did
Hit,
tail
yeah.
that.
The over in the Cleveland game hit. We talked about that.
Yep. Yeah, 44.5. The freaking Texans did it alone.
Texans covered it. Yeah. Packers almost did the same thing in that game too.
And what did we have straight? I know you had Miami. No, did you have the Chiefs?
I had Miami.
Okay, and then I had the Chiefs. Cool. All right, so I have you one on there. Cool. Packers Cowboys. Next game. As you mentioned, the Packers almost covered this themselves on the over. There's 80 combined points in this game. And the score makes it look like it was a lot closer than it was. This was a blowout, 27 and was it 24-0, 27-0?
27-0, and then it was like 41-14. What was the final?
48-32.
46-32? 48-32? So yeah, I think it was 41-14. Not great. Not great at all.
No, and like
it was like immediate.
Yeah, it
They
was.
just came out, went down, score, 3 and out, score, pick, boom, like game over.
Yeah,
so quick.
And Dak, I mean, when you look back, when we look in next year, we're gonna be like, oh, Dak had a good game. He did not have a good game. He ended up with a lot of yards.
I don't think anyone's actually gonna think that.
Tony Pollard didn't. I mean, he got a touchdown, but wasn't helpful on the ground. They couldn't really run. I mean, they didn't.
Well, they were down 21 points.
I was just
in 3
gonna say,
seconds.
yeah, they're not gonna. They're never gonna run the ball a lot. CD's amazing. I mean, they have all the weapons. Their defense got torched by Jordan Love. Jordan Love looked amazing. He missed 5 passes all game. Only threw it 21 times. Got 3 touchdowns.
Stroud had identical numbers.
Really?
So like 2 yards was the difference between him and Stroud.
Wow.
If you look at completions, touchdowns, and yards, yeah, it's really freaky actually. But
And
he was perfect.
And Aaron Jones, we were talking about him before the game and right before the playoffs that he had to step up. He played amazing. He had 3 touchdowns himself. Romeo Dobbs was out there balling. He had his career high and everything. They didn't even have to use
100-yard game all his career.
Yeah,
went off for like 150.
Yeah, and they didn't even need Christian Watson. Jalen Reed didn't even get a catch. This was over very quickly. And I guess really the storyline after this is what do the Cowboys do?
You got to think about him. To come out like this, and I'll also say that anyone who has Dan Quinn on their list of guys to interview for their head coaching gig, which includes my team, should cancel that interview yesterday.
Yeah, they need to cancel that.
Like this is like an implosion that's a fireball offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the Colts got smoked by the Jags last week of the year, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They missed the playoffs. Terrible Jags team. Like games like that, that's a fireball offense. This was so bad. Come out and to just get gashed by a Packers team who's been like they've been up and down and they've had some really good weeks. They've never looked like this or anything close to this. Like I felt like every time Aaron Jones got the ball, it was at least 8 or 9 yards. So easily.
Yeah, they were
every time Jordan Love dropped back, they weren't getting to him. And then somebody would be wide open on every single play. It was like the easiest game to watch as someone who's rooting against the Cowboys. Because you just had so much confidence that every time they snapped the football, they might just score a touchdown.
It was incredible performance by them.
They didn't get to him once.
Absolutely incredible performance by their offense. You're right, Dan Quinn. That should be that should be the interview. Sorry, man. We just saw you in the playoffs.
That's right. That was the interview.
We talked about Jair Alexander. He needed to come back. He did his job. He got a pick. Yardage wise, when it's all garbage time, like he's gonna get torched. But he got his pick. Your boy from Maryland, Darnell Savage, got the other one.
Savage.
Wasn't that 6?
Yep. That was 6.
Yeah, look at that. Representing Maryland.
Yep. You guys, like delivering the pigs.
All right. Is there anything else? I mean, all right, coach-wise, what do? You fire McCarthy.
So the only thing about firing McCarthy is you have to ensure that the alternative is better. So like Belichick or Vrabel or Harbaugh is on the table, then I think you do it in a heartbeat, right? If not, then it's a conversation.
I thought Belichick made a lot of sense, and then I thought about it for a little bit, and it doesn't make because I don't think Belichick wants to deal with Jerry Jones. I don't think he wants to deal with, and I don't think Jerry Jones wants to deal with Belichick because Jerry Jones has always had a puppet as head coach. Yeah, exactly. He's always had a guy that will not say anything back to Jerry Jones, and however Jerry wants to do it, Jerry's going to do it. Well, this is Bill Belichick. Like if Bill Belichick goes into a team, it's Bill Belichick's way.
Yes.
And I don't think the Cowboys are going to be dealing with that. At least Jerry won't be. They should though. Imagine Bill Belichick.
Harbaugh's not doing that either.
Yeah,
Vrabel's probably not doing that.
I was going to say Vrabel might not either. Because Vrabel didn't like the GM in Tennessee, so how's he going to get along with Jerry Jones? He's going to say one word to him, and he's going to fire him.
A GM who's not even like a football expert.
Yeah, he's just a businessman. Just imagine, though, if the egos could be put aside and Bill Belichick coached this team. Mm-hmm. That defense would never look like that ever. It would never let up 45 points to Jordan Love. Or 48.
Yeah.
They need to change something. I think they will change something. Maybe it's not McCarthy though. Maybe you're right. I just think.
You think they consider moving on from Dak? Because he had the best year of his career this year.
Honestly,
I was actually worried about the Cowboys in the playoffs this year.
Honestly, in
how good Dak had been.
In the fourth quarter, I was like, why not give Trey Lance a shot? Why not see what he can do? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you move on from Dak. I think they have too much money invested into him. Mm-hmm. He's too much of a brand, and there's too many negative alternatives. Like, what do you get? What do you even get for Dak? You get a second round pick.
Again, it's the issue.
Yeah,
and
I think.
Who do you play?
So maybe they look the same. Maybe they just. I mean, they look. We've been they said this about Jason Garrett for like 10 years. They should fire him at the end of the season for like 10 years. So I think I think they keep him. Which is I think it's a mistake though. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
All right, the game of the
Ooh.
weekend, the closest game of the weekend, most exciting game of the weekend.
The only good game, really.
Yeah, the only good game at all. Rams, Lions, Matthew Stafford's return. Lions, they got the Lions got the victory. First victory in 2 decades, 3 decades. The Detroit Lions in the playoffs.
Great.
They got
Yeah,
to be
it's been great.
home. Great, I think great for the Lions fans. This is a great moment for Detroit. I mean, they've had a lot of shit years in a lot of sports, so and they deserve this one. And I was petrified. I was scared for them. I thought this Rams team was. I wish this Rams team faced another team so we could see the Rams again because
Mhm.
like they would have whooped the Bucks Eagles no matter who they faced,
Oh, yeah.
and they might have torched the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, if you get that same Cowboys team, then I think it's the same score as the Packers game was. Like, if they couldn't stop Romeo Dobbs, I think they're
Yeah.
stopping Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
That was the biggest disappointment for the Rams was Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp had a pretty terrible game for his standards, especially in the playoffs. They couldn't they got to him 5 times, but he really got like no yardage out of that, and he just was kind of a non-factor, which was not what anyone was expecting. I mean, Puka, this stat line makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, if the Lions' game plan was like, we're going to take him out of the game and like they have these 2 receivers, we're going to let one of them beat us. We're not going to let both of them beat us.
Well, they let Puka beat
I don't
him.
know if it's that. Yeah, but Puka had an amazing game.
Yeah.
But I guess like if you figure Cooper Kupp's his most reliable target, if you take him out on every big third down and he's forced to go somewhere else, then eventually like it'll work out for you.
And I guess technically it did. Their defense stood up to be able to hold the Rams to 23 points. Very impressive in my eyes.
Well, this game looked like it was going to be 70-65.
Yeah, the second
The
half.
first few drives.
Yeah, the first couple drives.
I don't know what happened. I had the under and I couldn't believe that it hit.
I know. It hit literally right at the like. I mean, they hit at the
There were
skin of their
9
teeth.
points in the second half.
I wonder, how does that? It's just like 2 great coaching adjustments at halftime. Like, how does that happen? Where there's so many points in the first half and
I
just
guess
none
so.
in the second.
Yeah. Maybe they just got tired.
That could be as well.
The first 6 drives, it's all Gordon in the first half. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, 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 touchdown.
And then nothing.
The second quarter was like the third quarter in the Green Bay game. It's just touchdown, touchdown.
Oh
back and
yeah.
forth, back and forth. Except this game was actually close. The Green Bay game it was already a 20-point deficit, and then they were just trading touchdowns.
I love how
But
like Josh Reynolds is out here getting 5 catches for 80 yards. Like Sam Laporta. I mean, I know he was injured, and Jameson Williams.
Takes everybody.
It does take everyone, and I mean, again, this was a guy that was on Goff's Rams team. I thought there was a lot of praise for Goff or for Stafford and coming home and all that stuff. Shout out to Jared Goff having to beat his demons. Literally the guy who they invested in you, number 1 pick, and then flip you for this guy, win the Super Bowl immediately. Must have felt good.
The locker room speech was awesome.
I did not see
Dan
that.
Campbell. He gave out the first game ball to Brad Holmes, the GM, and gave like this huge speech about how they're always on the same page and like everything we did right and it led us here. Which, by the way, they've won 1 playoff game, so like a bit much.
But it's basically the Lions Super Bowl. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on.
But then the second game ball, he was just like, "You're good enough for Detroit, Jared Goff," and threw the football. It was a pretty cool.
That's wholesome.
Pretty cool moment.
That's wholesome.
Yeah, it was wholesome. It made my heart happy, and that's why no one's gonna talk about the PI that they missed on the Rams on that last drive.
No one's gonna talk about that. The
that
that was
great.
No, and that was like I was just thinking about this is like, all right, they let him get away with a couple Bengals or the Bengal. Remember the Bengals in the Super Bowl? There's a couple holding calls that they let him get away with. It's just like, all
Yeah.
right, this is all right. You guys got the Super Bowl. We're giving Detroit this one. We'll even it out. Call it a score, but that was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad PI.
Yeah,
that they did. It's always the Rams, isn't it? Where it's, I mean, not maybe always, but
They
in these
just have to
playoff
be
games,
involved
yeah, in these playoff
somehow.
games, they always have to be involved with some shitty call. All right.
But yeah, who cares? I honestly was very happy for Detroit. It made me happy to watch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the only thing that concerns me going
A
forward is
little
that
worried
they
about the
scored
Bucks.
against them. Are you worried about the Bucks? I'm not worried
Yes.
about the Bucks. No.
I don't,
Okay.
and it's not even anything to do with how the Bucks looked last week. They played against a college football team, but I don't know. It's still too good to be true for the Lions. Like, they're gonna play in an NFC Championship. I don't know, but it's also like Baker Mayfield's gonna play in that. So it really is like the underdog story of the century, maybe.
Honestly, I mean, and
You get waxed in San Francisco.
yeah, honestly, whoever the winner is of any of these are, I hope the Packers give him a fight so we can see someone hopefully beat them.
I honestly think they will. I don't
Packers
think
give him a fight?
It's gonna look unbeatable.
Okay.
Yeah. Although Shanahan has owned the Packers, hasn't he? Maybe it's just that one play. No, it was two. They beat him in the NFC Championship, and they beat him in Green Bay. The year they played the Rams in the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
Shanahan's beat LaFleur at least twice in the playoffs. I don't know about the regular season.
Yeah, just twice in the playoffs, I think.
But I can't beat Bay because of that.
You know what I hate? Beginning of the season, I was like, 3 teams that were in the playoffs all these years, and we've all been talking about them for all these years, are going to be terrible this year. The Packers, the Bucks, and the Rams. Here they are. Here they are, all
Real
with
world.
Yeah, I know. Rams with half their roster completely
Bucks,
different. The
like,
Bucks got a different quarterback.
That was a Brady, like, this isn't the same Bucks team.
No, I agree, and it's not the same Packers
It's not
team
like
either.
they were a perennial playoff team either. Right, but the Packers have been in the playoffs for the last 25 years. Bucks have been in it for like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I meant
the Rams too.
I guess I kind of meant just like based off the past handful of years, and specifically that I called out all these teams with, I bet all of them on the worst record, all 3 of them. So that's fun. That's fun.
Coaching, it's good coaching.
It is good coaching. That's what it is.
I deserve a lot of credit. Todd Bowles hasn't gotten any credit this year.
No, not a lick of credit.
We should throw him a bone at least.
Sure, they
And
went
the
9.
division sucked.
Yeah, they went 9-8. Great
They won a playoff game.
against a college football team.
I don't think everyone's picking against them against the Lions on Sunday.
You see, a reporter asked Todd Bowles how they're going to deal with the weather in Detroit. They play in a dome.
Like,
How do these clowns get
yeah,
jobs?
I
We're sitting
mean, the
over here.
walk from the bus into the stadium is gonna be pretty chilly, I guess.
Yeah, I hope Jared Goff doesn't lose all of his feel in his hands. All right, this one we can go by quick. This was a no game. I was sad that there was no snow in this.
The snow was fun. Well, the throwing the snow.
Yes, the throwing the
it
snow
looked
was
like
fun.
the geysers. Like,
I thought we were gonna see some Shady McCoy type snow, so I bet everything based off that, and that's not what we got. They covered though. I got the cover. I didn't hit the under.
this was a game for like a minute. Like, the Steelers were lingering.
Well, here's the thing: the Steelers kept freaking screwing themselves. The pick in the end zone was like a 10-point swing or 7-point swing at least. They couldn't get
Fumble that then
that made
immediately
no
turned
sense
into
to
a
me.
touchdown.
Well, not that fumble. The other fumble. The fumble that like the Steelers like offensive player hit his helmet as it bounced while he was when he was out of bounds. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it bounced out of bounds. And I think how it happened is the offensive player was out of bounds and it touched his helmet, so technically the ball is out of bounds.
Mhm.
But like I couldn't really tell where it touched his helmet, so I don't know. I thought that was weird. But they even tried to give him that, and they couldn't get anything going. And you're right, the fumble goes immediately to a touchdown. The Josh Allen fake slide for a touchdown. I think that was like people were blowing that out of proportion. I don't think he flakes.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he was Kenny Pickett where he had one leg on the ground.
It's funny because it's against the same team.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Did you know that the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016?
Yeah, I've been seeing all this stuff.
I heard that this morning. Like, that's pretty shocking because I have always complained about the Steeler fans that complain about Tomlin.
It's
Like, you don't understand how good you have it.
Screw. No, they
What?
haven't had a good quarterback since 2016. The fact that Tomlin is 9-8 in all these games, it's not like
That's true.
I hate all these people that are like, oh, would you take 9-8 and no playoff win every year? It's like, yeah, because they're 10-point underdogs every year in the playoffs. Their teams are terrible. Like the fact that like Tomlin is not an underrated coach. I'm so sick of people trying to say that he's an underrated coach or overrated coach because
We overrated, yeah.
yeah, he carries these teams with like he had Mason Rudolph starting in a playoff game. He had 4 years of terrible Big Ben. Maybe
is
5.
It on him to get a new quarterback, or I don't know what their front office structure is.
Yeah, I don't know how that is.
Like, does he have personnel control?
I can't claim for that. All I know is the quarterbacks that he's been presented with, or maybe he's chosen himself, have been terrible. And I think Kenny Pickett's done.
Yeah, you said it last time that he's getting shadow benched.
He is getting shadow benched. He's not injured, bro. We saw Trevor Lawrence play 5 weeks on a broken ankle. He's definitely fine.
It looks like they do have a general manager. This guy, Omar Khan. So go get a quarterback, Omar.
Yeah, Omar needs to go figure that one out.
Seriously. Like, what if they signed Kirk Cousins or something?
That's what I'm saying. They could get Kirk Cousins.
Just something. That team could win with Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah. They already have fired. I mean, Pickens is a head case, but he also has never had a quarterback.
That would be the funniest relationship ever.
Pickens and Kirk Cousins. That would be like that should need its own Netflix show. Every conversation should be filmed. I mean, they always have weapons. They always have running backs. They always have I guess the past couple years they haven't had a good offensive line, but they've always had a decent enough offensive line. And their defense is always solid. But they're never competitive in any of these playoff games, and it's because they need a quarterback.
I know. I would have been interested to see them go up against the Ravens. We beat them twice this year. And I know the last time was because it was not Lamar, but it would have been interesting. Because I think Ravens fans would have been terrified.
It would have been fun. It definitely would have been fun. On the Bills side, they were able to keep a consistent running game with James Cook. Even Ty Johnson was pretty all right. Josh Allen only scrambled when he needed to.
Maryland guys.
Yeah, Ty Johnson. I almost bet his over, and it hit. I should have done it.
I didn't even know he was in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. He's out there a couple times randomly.
Be completely frank.
Diggs.
I watched a hype video about the Bills a few days ago. I gotta say, I'm all in. I think they might win the Super Bowl this year.
They keep losing players on.
It's one of those videos where like they have Nick Wright at the start.
If Nick Wright starts your video, if Nick Wright starts your hype video, you know it's good.
The playoffs.
You know it's good if Nick Wright.
And then it's like the only way is if they win 5 games in a row, and then it's like every single win. I was like, this kind of fired me up. But then I think about the games. It's like they only won like one of them convincingly.
No, and they had like.
But if they can run the football, like that's been the bugaboo this whole time.
Yeah,
they can run the football.
I agree. If they run the football and they can keep it going, and this is gonna be big for Buffalo. What concerns me is Diggs. I know. I mean, like he didn't need a big game, but he didn't have a big game. Can they get him going in the playoffs?
Be all right. I'm telling you, at some point, he's gonna have a game.
He's due. He's due.
My words. He's due.
He's far due.
Been saving his energy.
I mean, as Josh Allen didn't make a stupid mistake, so as long as he doesn't do that in the playoffs, that should help too.
Yeah, you almost need Josh Allen to be like a little less Josh Allen in the playoffs.
1,000%.
Be like a little more chill.
Yeah, just relax the guy. Just relax.
Every play doesn't have to be crazy miracle throw.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a touchdown every time.
That's just chunk plays.
Yeah. All right, final game. The biggest implosion since when? Just the whole season long. They started 10-1, ended 11-6.
So I saw that they were being compared to the Steelers team that started 11-0.
Yeah,
I think it was during the COVID year.
Yeah, I remember that.
They completely tanked.
And you know who stopped their season? Just like every other, it's always one team that stops this undefeated run, and it's somehow the Washington Commanders.
It's the Washington football team at that point.
Yeah, at that point it was the football team.
I was in the middle of their epic division run.
Yeah, when they won the division at 8,
crushed everybody.
8-8, right?
7-9.
7-9.
Yeah,
that was the Nate Sudfeld
yep.
travesty that the
yes,
Giants
that was
won,
when they benched. Was it Hurts?
It was Hurts.
Yeah, they benched him for because Peterson wanted to get a look at him, and then they fired Peterson. Yeah, that was a weird year.
This is one of the worst.
Yeah, so they lost.
It's one of the worst games.
They lost 4 of their last 5, and then the playoffs. They lost to the Browns.
Yeah, lost to Baker.
I down 28-0 in the first quarter. So actually, yeah, this is pretty similar.
This Eagles team is garbage. Garbage. They couldn't do anything right all game. Not a single thing. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't catch the ball. They didn't have a creative offensive play once. The tush push didn't even work.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, I think they're done. That was like the one thing the whole year.
Also,
like, anytime we need a yard, we got it. And then perfect, like get that penalty, move it up. Oh, it's a free 2 points.
I will say though, Jalen Hurts' neck got like ripped off on that failed tush push.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna ban it.
I mean,
I'd guess.
I would hope. I would hope not. I think teams, but we'll discuss it if that ever happens.
Roethlisberger threw 4 picks in that playoff game, by the way, and lost the football. Not that it matters, but that was fun.
That is funny. Like when you look, Hurts didn't even play that bad, but he didn't have like he had one pass down the field, and it was Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
To get to that 1 yard line, or basically close to it, whatever the hell that was. And every other play was a screen pass. It was like 5 wide. Why are we doing 5 wide?
So
we have a great running back. Nah, let's just do a screen pass somewhere. It's like 3rd and 2. We're gonna do a 5 wide screen pass. It's like QB draws right there.
3rd and 2 stuff drives me nuts.
The 3rd and 2 was insane.
Or just push twice on 3rd and 2.
It was nuts that they honestly had no game plan. And as much as
what did they do all week?
I really had no clue.
Like when they watch film, like what are they looking for?
I think they're looking for how
they're like watching the defense. They're like,
how
okay,
good
the screen will work
looks
against this defense.
They're like, Jalen Hurts looks good in that play.
If we get Devontae Smith 1-on-1 with this corner,
we can throw a screen. We can throw a screen with to Quiz Watkins instead.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, we'll flip a screen to Goddard. I don't know what their issue is.
Their issue is that I mean, oh, and like, let's not get this twisted. This was the best roster in the NFL, the best. We were talking about them that they're gonna like.
No, the 49ers are.
Before the year, when we were talking about it, we were talking about this
okay.
team like it was the 2016 Warriors.
You couldn't argue them outside the top 3.
No,
Yeah.
and I mean, all their cornerbacks are old. That's why, and none of them wanted to tackle. James Bradbury got benched in the first quarter. They were so bad they had to bring him back in.
It's like they call that the Forbes.
The Forbes?
Or actually, Sam Howell would be the guy.
Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes.
Yeah.
You bench him, and then they're like, "All right, everybody's hurt, so you're
back in.
corner number 1 against 49ers this week, buddy." Look.
And the Bucks were able to do everything. When they wanted to throw, they were able to throw. When they wanted to run, they were able to run. The thing that pissed me off is I had like 8 first touchdown bets, and one of them was the Kate Otton, would have gotten me $7 immediately off a 50-cent bet. That was he got tackled in the end zone, and nobody wanted to call that. And then the next play, Mike Evans drops. Yeah, I know. But next play, Mike Evans drops a wide open touchdown that would have gotten me like $4.
Yeah, that was tough.
But other than that, they were able to do whatever they wanted. They don't rely on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, which is exactly how they should be. And I mean, Baker has played on 4 teams in the past 2 years, and he's now won a playoff game.
Yeah, good for him.
You just gotta give your confidence behind this guy. Like the Browns never had confidence in him. The Panthers surely had no confidence in him.
When they did, they made the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
And the whole Odell thing.
Yeah, it was always Baker's fault. Baker's fault. And he's won more playoff games than the Browns have. And their one playoff game that they've won is because of Baker Mayfield.
He also has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott.
It's time to have a conversation.
So, I was gonna do the tough pill to swallow.
Anyone in the league could have gotten this guy. Anyone in the league.
Yeah.
Either of our dumb teams could have had this guy.
I don't think much changes.
That's fair. I will say the Bucks' offensive line is pretty fire. They really have built that up well because they built this team for Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's like benefiting from Brady.
Yeah, he built this team for Brady, and then
I'm not coming here unless these dudes are studs.
Yeah, and then they had a stud team, and they put in Baker. I just thought Baker would be so bad that they wouldn't be able to move the ball at all, but he's been fantastic.
I thought the whole team was getting old too, and then you forget that like Mike Evans, like guy's not slowing down.
The old thing I always not always. I always take into account the old thing, but like, all right, great, he's 32 instead of 31. Like, come on. As long as he's not your number 1 corner, I think it's all right.
Also, you can't like convince me that Kate Otton is just Cameron Brate named. Like I always get so confused when they say Otton because like that's Cam Brate.
You're right. No, it's Robert Gronkowski. What do you mean? Switch the number 1. This guy, I remember him last year, like just being around, but I mean, he had a fantastic playoff game, and it could just be like I don't know what his stats look like all season, but this was a fantastic playoff game for him. He could have had a touchdown.
Picked him up once in fantasy. He sucked.
Sounds like
he's
every
good
tight
enough
end
to
in
pick
fantasy.
up.
Yeah, he sounds like
Yeah.
All right. We had a Friday pod to talk about all next round, so want to go to basketball?
Yep.
Well, let's repack the wise picks that didn't hit and did hit. I had Buffalo -9, which hit. And I had over on the Eagles Tampa Bay, which did not hit by 1. Dude, that freaking Eagles
Close.
field goal screwed me in so many different bets. Screwed me on a parlay because I needed this kicker to get 2 kicks, and then I had the stupid over. And if they just let that field goal go, the over's hit.
Yeah. The gambling.
I had a terrible weekend, gambling wise.
I ended up breaking even. I just went so heavy on the Dolphins. I hit one Tyreek bet. That kind of saved me. And then I hit the under on Sunday night.
The under on Sunday night was a lock.
Yeah. It was scary, though. I was like,
Oh, yeah. No, it was a nerve. Yeah, it was a nerve-wracking lock.
Game's going to be like 45-38.
All right.
And then I hit the Packers as well.
So.
+7.
Yes. So we had what? We went 2 for 6.
3 for 6. I was 2-1.
All right, nice. 3 for 6 is terrible, but that's okay. We'll be better next week. We'll have combined picks. We'll be better.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll be picked.
Let me pick.
We'll get out of here. All those picks will be taken on Friday at 5 p.m. Happy hour.
Yep.
I'm gonna have something. I don't know what I'm gonna have, but I'm gonna make something for happy hour. Maybe that'll help our picks. So all that stuff, all divisional round stuff, will be done on Friday. We have some NBA to talk about. We haven't talked about the NBA in a long time, or at least not in detail. And the Raptors have made 2 moves since, and I guess we kind of talked about the Knicks one, right? But today,
Yeah, I think we got that.
Today, they traded Pascal Siakam. Long-awaited trade. It seemed like they were going to trade him for past 2 years. They traded him for Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kyron Lewis, and 2 first-round picks from the Pacers, who then got Pascal Siakam and a second-round pick. Really, the highlight of this is, I guess Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown was playing pretty well. He was on the championship Nuggets team for everyone at home. And then the first 2, the 3 first-round picks are the big draw here.
Mm-hmm.
And I when you look at other stars, I don't know who Pascal Siakam is, but 3 picks isn't that bad. And you have Tyrese Halliburton. You had some pieces where you knew you weren't going to be in the top, hopefully 14. They think they're going to make the playoffs. They think that this is their timetable, and they wanted to accelerate it a little bit. Siakam averaging 22 points and like 7 rebounds a game, but is he a star? Is this what they really needed to propel themselves forward?
I think so, because I think Halliburton is on his way to becoming a real, not a star, but a superstar in this league. And because of that, I don't think you need a second superstar. Like the Nuggets don't have that. They have Jokic, and then they have Murray, who's an all-star, and Porter, who's an excellent player. They don't have another, there's no LeBron, D. Wade, Durant. You don't need that in the NBA anymore, necessarily. What the Nuggets showed last year is it's more about building a team that plays complementary basketball. And I think if it works, obviously if it works, then they achieve their goal. But if it works, it's because they added a guy who's going to complement Halliburton and is going to play alongside him well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And the only thing that concerns me with this team would be now the 3-point shooting. You have Miles Turner out there, which I guess they're going to have Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam out there at the same time with Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, and probably Mathurin. And Mathurin doesn't shoot threes. Buddy Hield shoots threes.
Your boy.
I do like Neesmith. He shoots threes.
He does. That's all he does.
Yeah, it's true. So I guess
Steve
off the
Smith is shooting 46% from three.
it's electric.
That's crazy.
But
That's insane.
like, having two bigs that don't shoot a lot of threes? Is that what we want for this team? This fast paced team that just like to get the ball out a lot. I don't know. I want to see how it is. I hope he runs with I hope he goes into the flow, as you were saying, and build that complementary basketball. Because this Pacers team was a lot of fun. They have a good coach. The coach, Rick Carlisle, he was a Dallas coach for a long time, and clearly saw something in Pascal. So if they're the team to do it and bite the bullet and finally push the pieces to move on for Pascal, I think that they are gonna have they're clearly gonna have a plan for him. So I'm gonna have some faith in a franchise that has been doing it the right way for a couple years now. So I think this is kind of like a mini Rudy Gobert trade, right? It's like you have Anthony Edwards, you had a cat.
Yeah, but we hated that trade.
Yeah, no, we did hate that trade because they still gave up way too much. They gave up 5 first-round picks and 3 good players.
That, but like the fit of you traded for a center when your best player is a center.
Yeah, that is true. But it worked out for them.
You're saying you're worried about the 3-point shooting. I guess it worked out for now. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we look dumb for now.
Yeah, for now.
We'll see. For now. But you're worried about the 3-point shooting. I think the way that you look at this from a front office perspective is let's take what we have as a surplus, which is shooting and scoring, and let's address a weakness, which is defense. And Siakam gives them a reliable defender.
That is true.
Down low, who has length and can stretch.
It's a great point.
And can probably basically can guard any position. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about with complementary play. They don't need him to be a run and gun guy. They need him at the rim, be able to stretch out, guard small and big fours. So I think it's a smart move, and you're right. It's 3 first-round picks, and you're already pretty young, right? You're not.
They don't need. Yeah, they're not looking for a bunch of young pieces.
A rookie to develop.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have 3 years to wait on a guy that you're going to draft in the top 10. You're not even going to be in the top 10. So I think it makes sense. I think especially giving them this half of the season and playoffs together, and then you go into next year. I'm assuming they're going to re-sign him.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, you do this move to re-sign him.
Yeah. But I think having that under your belt going into next year is a big deal. So I think it's a win-win because Toronto wasn't really going anywhere. You got good value for him. Got a decent player back who's, Bruce Brown, solid.
Another trade piece too. He's got also, 3 years on his deal.
Yeah, that's right. It kind of helps the Pacers getting rid of that contract. That was a shitty contract.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad contract. I don't know what they were doing.
Did not deserve. That was the NBA finals.
Yeah, it was the finals tax. So, yeah. I mean, now they have the thing that I like about this trade for the Raptors and the previous trade for the Raptors is that now they're actually a little bit interesting. We saw this old Raptors team play out for 4 years. We knew they were terrible. So now they have.
It was literally just the shell of the finals team.
Yeah,
without Kawhi.
And they played for 4 years together. It didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. And
finally, Van Vliet moved on. Now Siakam's gone. Now it's a new group. Anobi gone. Or
yeah,
RJ, man.
They
are thrown into this mess.
RJ Barrett. No, he's from Canada. Gives him a chance to be a star with Scotty.
That's true. He is Canadian. That's true. What are the odds that the Canadian NBA player ends up on the one Canadian?
They got to get Wiggins. Trade for Wiggins now. Let's get the whole Canadian team together. Celtics give him back.
I can't imagine RJ Barrett and Andrew Wiggins being a good combo.
No, especially with Scotty Barnes too. That's 3 players that are exactly the same.
Scotty Barnes is getting a superstar in this league. What was the quote?
Yeah,
coach
the
had.
coach. Yeah, that was
Todd Barnes is
hilarious.
gonna be like
He is going to be the face of the league one day, and this is how you
the
treat him.
face of the league. Who was it? Also, this is a tangent, but somebody said that you shouldn't have given that, or that it made it worse that you had an accent. I think it was Evan Turner.
Evan
He's
Turner.
like, "You really gonna let the coach with an accent give that rant?" I was like, "What?"
What do you mean? They're supposed to tell him, you can't
Evan
talk, man. You
Turner.
got an accent. Sorry,
You
pal.
can't be saying that.
Honestly, Evan Turner. I love Evan. There's like a couple NBA guys that are like completely washed, like Evan Turner, and I mean Perk's always Perk, but there's a couple other ones on Twitter that I can't name off the top of my head right now that are always like chime in on these. It's like, dude, you're a bum.
Yeah.
You're out of here. You've been out of the league for years now.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
But I do think
Matt
it was
Barnes
time to
was
move
for a
on
little
for
bit.
the.
Now he's just become like actual podcast guy.
Who?
Matt Barnes does the podcast with Steven Jackson,
Oh, okay.
guy with all the tattoos.
Oh, actually, I have no idea who you're talking about. Oh, him? I didn't even know he was a basketball player. He has a podcast.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's point made there.
All right. I mean, and on the Raptor side, I think you're just rooting to have some fun at this point. See what we have with RJ. See what you have with Scotty.
Yeah.
We need. I don't know what Grady Dick's stat line has been looking like, but he needs to get some minutes if he hasn't played. Yeah. Oh, the first thing that comes up is G League stats. So looks like he doesn't play very much.
Yeah, he's averaging 3 points on 28% shooting, 12 minutes a game.
Terrible.
Not great.
That's bad.
Not great. But he had that Halloween costume.
Did have that sweet Halloween costume, and he did have the ruby rose dress or not dress, but jacket at the draft. Before we move on to College Corner, this is a perfect transition. Another storyline that is popping up around the NBA is the emergence of Gigi Jackson. We're back, baby.
I've
We're
seen that.
so back. Gigi Jackson the Grizzlies are completely injured. They are torn apart. They have like no one on their team anymore. And you know who this gives right? It's like the bat signal. The Gigi signal is out. It's out and about. He is playing the past two nights or past two games. Sorry. He's played 25 plus minutes, 27 and 29 respectively, off 20 points and 23 points. What's more impressive is he shot 6 for 9 from field and 5 from 8 against the Warriors. It's pretty damn good numbers. Yeah. 6 rebounds in each of those games.
It's always been in him.
No, yes, I agree. That's what I wanted to point out. This has always been in him. This is what I was preaching to the choir when it was draft GG season. This is actually a perfect scenario for him because he wasn't supposed to play. He's supposed to spend pretty much the whole year in the G League. Now he's getting some minutes where it doesn't matter. Like it's like just go play basketball. Like we're trying to win these games, of course, but they know they're not going to like they're not in any
It's
any
like Baker
sort of
Mayfield.
competition. Yeah, exactly.
Go beat Gigi Jackson.
Yeah, and he's still emotional. It's very funny. He was crying on TNT, crying after TNT. Very emotional fella. But finally getting some recognition. He was the number one.
Stop with the crying on TV.
He does need to stop with the crying on TV.
I'm sorry.
He's
Sorry.
19. He's 19 years old.
I know.
And
He's 3 years younger than me.
I know, it's nuts. It's nuts. But it does look like Memphis is able to get I'm not gonna call him a star or anything, but it's a promising prospect that was the number one kid out of high school. So I just think in future drafts, like if there's a number one kid out of high school, maybe take him at the end of the first.
Yeah.
Right? Like why not? What are you gonna take this Serbian kid that played really well a couple times? Like,
and I mean Jokic. That's
yeah, maybe I shouldn't have picked Serbia.
Latvia.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a great story for him, and I hope he keeps killing it. Apparently,
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like I've seen it multiple times. It seems like it's true. Apparently, he told Steph Curry either during or after the game, because this breakout, like this second breakout game, I guess, was against the Warriors live on TNT, and he told him, he's like, you kicked me out of you kicked me out of a training camp once. Like basically like get wrecked. Like I just said, kids whooped your team. Like get wrecked.
Well, he's probably being a dickhead at training camp. He's probably pouting.
Probably was pouting. I remember when he was to be a recruit for South Carolina, he was always in the CP AAU teams. So maybe he got to see his boy Chris Paul after the game. He's injured though, so I don't know.
Yeah. He is injured.
All right.
Oh, good for Gigi.
Yeah.
Are we not going to talk about the bigger trade that went down?
I almost forgot the league changing trade.
Marvin Bagley and 2 second-round picks and Isaiah Livers
You fleeced.
or Gallinari. They did, honestly. I don't know how they got 2 picks for Gallinari and Muscala. They're on expiring deals.
Yeah, that or a former
They gotta
second
pay
round.
for him.
Talk about former draft hype. He was this number 2 pick.
Yeah, Bagley.
Number 2 pick. I mean, this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. They then, I will say, before we like joke about the Wizards being good, they did just lose to the Pistons right after this trade
On MLK Day.
without Cade Cunningham playing or Bogdan Bogdanovic, which are their best 2 players. They're an embarrassment of a franchise.
Yeah, I read an article about how bad the NBA is, like how bad the bad teams are this year. The Wizards, the Pistons, the Spurs, Hornets, the Blazers.
The Big 5.
And it's like unbelievably bad.
They're all so terrible.
The year where the Sixers like peak trust the process when they were tanking, they were losing by less than these teams. And then they were like, the Pistons thought that they were taking a step forward this year. They've won 4 games.
I know, just like switch up the
It's a great article.
switch up like the locker
Definitely.
room and stuff. But, like, why are you even doing this trade? You're just giving up Marvin Bagley. And
It was
Isaiah
some reason for this. I didn't read. I started to read it and I was like, I really don't care.
Livers. That's the other thing. It's like it really doesn't matter. It's really not that important.
No, it could not matter less.
I loved
Like, I don't think the Wizards will be competitive for 5 years.
I love
That's the type of rebuild that we signed up.
the thank you
Which is okay.
the thank you Gallinari and Mike Muscula post on Instagram.
I'm glad Muscala's gone. I hated seeing his bum ass in the game.
He was bad on the
He was
Celtics too.
trash.
He was bad on the Celtics last year as well. Wizards. Pistons make a sidestep trade with the Wizards. Add Gallinari and sidestep.
I think it was a fleece. The fact that they got draft picks out of those guys is shocking.
Oh, sidestep is that's a compliment compared to what it actually is.
Yes.
I think it's a fleece too, even
It's
though
just 2 more shots that you have to get Jokic.
yeah, those are and well
They
no
already
and
have one. Just Tristan Vucevic and overseas right now.
it's been balling.
Coming over soon. No. I don't know like what the standards are for balling over there. Like I don't know how much he's expected to score. He did have a big game the other night.
You know, through all their woes, the Washington Wizards have yet to change up their starting lineup at all.
Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous.
Not a single switch.
It's like I think Wes Unseld is just like, like whatever.
He knows he's getting fired
I'm
anyways.
not gonna have this job.
Talk about what do they
like,
what do
I
they
might get another year just because we don't care. The
talk
owners
about
don't
what do they
care,
do
but, like,
in practice? Like what the hell do they do? Do they just watch Jordan Poole dribble all practice? Kuzma takes TikToks in the corner. Like, what do they practice?
they all deserve each other. Like they're all so perfect.
They're one big happy
Like no one's gonna
family.
get mad at Jordan Poole for dribbling. No one's gonna get mad at Kuzma for taking like ridiculous fadeaways from the elbow when there's like 3 guys open. The only guy I feel bad for is Bilal.
Yeah, Bilal's getting. I mean, and the fact that you feel bad for me is like 8 points a game, and he's the best player. He's like the star.
Oh, he's having a great year. When I watch games, I just watch it. Like when he goes out, I just flip the channel. Like I really don't care. None of these guys are here in 3
Well, what are you
years.
gonna watch? Denny minutes? Like what the fuck? Like what the
Oh,
hell?
the Wizards Twitter loves Denny, and I don't get it. He's had like a marginally better year this year.
Is he still
It's
averaging
like,
11,
that's
7,
great.
and 2?
I'm happy for him. He's averaging 12, 6, and 4.
Oh, he's switching it up a little bit.
It's like-
Switching it
that's
up.
what I'm saying. It's like you would think that he had like a Siakam like ascension to an all-star, but no. He's having 3 more points and 1 more assist.
They might have the worst body language of the whole NBA too. They like just don't care. They don't care about anything. And like when I was at the game, it's like the fans don't care.
Kuzma and Poole are the worst possible people. Oh no, that was another article that I read about the game against the Pistons, and it was like there were 15,000 people at this basketball game. We went around and asked, "Why are you here?" And at the end of it, he was just like, "There weren't like any boos or anything, not really any cheering either. Like we're just there to see basketball."
Our guy
players."
Big Bake was there.
Well, fair enough. Be the same way.
Oh yeah, he didn't
I would
care.
cheer at the end of the game, I guess. But I'm not gonna like boo for a bad call. This team, how could you possibly care? There will be a point where I care. I'm openly a front runner.
But like there's not there is one thing to care and think, you know, there's going to be a plan, like, you know, if you're the I guess if you're, I mean, why do you care if you're the Pistons? Why do you care if you're the Pistons? I don't know. With basketball it's different because you watch these guys play and it's so personable in basketball because there's no pads or anything, and like you see all their facial reactions and every reaction is on the court, so you see everything. And when you have a bad basketball team, when you have a bad basketball team that no one cares about, like you just see it on their faces. It's like I understand it. Like I get why people don't. I like.
Well, that's why Bilal is so fun to watch because he's the only one that like has energy.
Yeah, he still has
He's
like
like,
the.
oh, I actually might be playing for something.
The useful. What is that?
Hope?
Yeah, hope. That's what it is. Youthful hope. That maybe something will come of this
Youthful
team.
exuberance.
All right. Rest like the top of the East and everything. We'll cover we'll cover all the All-Star stuff and everything that happens with the trade deadline. But there's still football to be had, so there's no point in talking deep in the NBA like this. I will say the Spurs keep getting thrown in my face to watch, and they're also terrible. They're so bad.
They're so bad.
At least they have
But at
Wemby to
least you
watch.
get to watch
though.
Wemby.
Yeah,
That's
at
another
least you
team
have
where
Wemby
it's
to
like
watch.
you literally just key on him the whole game.
Oh yeah, you
just
don't watch
like
anyone else.
how many times Sochan drives to the basket and can't find it. Which would drive me insane. It's a Spurs fan.
Right before we move on, I just had it pulled up. Gigi Jackson was born in 2004.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
All right.
it's about tough pills to swallow.
Yeah. All right.
It's tough.
Speaking of Gamecock basketball, they faced Georgia last night. I previewed it. I guess I mentioned it at the top of the pod. It was a 9:00 game. I got there at 6:45. I was the second person in line, or at least my group of people were the second people in line. It really didn't get filled until probably, I mean, like, we would have missed out on our spots probably like 7:10, maybe 7:15. So I thought that was worth it. It was cold. It was cold as hell though. Sitting out there, they give us, they walk in. It was, I think people wanted the quarter zip T-shirts or something, but it was a mad dash getting in.
If you give away T-shirts, people will show up.
People will like fight other people to get in. It was like,
oh yeah,
people were like jumping.
It brings out the worst.
People were jumping over like the metal detectors and just like trying to get in, like get this kid scanned and shit. And But anyways, I get my seats, calm down a second, got the t-shirt, everything. Georgia players are freaking mean mugging us, talking smack on the side.
The players were mean fucking you.
Yeah. Like I don't know. There's this guy, Blue Kane. Look him up. Blue Kane, Cain.
Lou Kane.
Blue, like the color.
That's a shitty name.
And then RJ Melendez. Yeah, Blue Kane he looks like Goldilocks. He hit 2 dagger threes.
Wait, Melendez. He went to Illinois.
I hate Melendez.
Wait, what's his name?
RJ.
RJ.
Yeah, he went to Illinois. Look him up. It's the second picture.
Yes.
That dude's a turd.
Yeah, I remember him. I probably called him ugly too.
Oh, and in the warm up, number 1, 2 was this shit. Jabir Abdul Rahim. He sucked. All these guys were classless individuals. And they all sucked in pregame. They come in, they have 54 on the team. His name's Russell Tachua. He looks like he should play tight end for Georgia. He should not be playing center. And he played like he should be playing tight end too. He was more like playing like he was running back.
It's like no ball skills.
They traveled more than any team I've ever seen. And they called it 50% of the time. The refs were terrible. The Gamecocks also couldn't hit free throws. We win this game. They missed 47% free throws. So if they missed,
yeah, that's tough.
We had the same amount of free throws taken, both teams. We beat them in 3-pointers. We had the same amount of field goals, but we made 17 of them. They made 25, and that was literally the game. That was it. But what sucked is the last 4 minutes of the game. Georgia, and it was kind of the whole game. Georgia realized that these refs were terrible and I can't even describe it. There was a ball that hit off a guy's face, went out of bounds, and they called it Georgia ball. There was a ball that I'm not gonna get through all of them, but it was egregious. It was terrible. These old men, we were giving them all sorts of hell. It was just a bad loss. It's hard to beat the refs and Georgia. That's what it seemed like. And it seemed like it kept deflating the atmosphere of the game. The atmosphere everyone gets wild up, and then there's another 5-minute review. There's another 3-minute review. There's another 5 field goal or 5 free throws in a row. There was. It seemed like towards the end of the game, the last 4 minutes, there was nothing but free throws over and over and over again. So it was pain in the ass.
This game sucked.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. It was very annoying. What sucked too is it started at 9, so all these fouls and free throws. It was 11:30 by the end of the game.
That's late.
So, but I thought the team fought through some adversity. That they played well. I'm not giving up on this team. I think the SEC's tough, and they got
you're in too deep for that.
No, yeah, and they got a road win against Missouri, so they got their lick back. Georgia got them at home, so it's time to take it to Arkansas on Saturday.
Was this a game that you're supposed to win, by a lot?
We were supposed to win by 7.
Or...
I thought that line was too high, which clearly I was correct about.
Yeah, that's not too egregious.
No, it wasn't too bad. And then next Tuesday, we'll have to have another Wednesday pod. Kentucky's coming to town, number 8.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Oh boy.
That's gonna be nuts. That is going to be nuts. But that's just the SEC gauntlet, man. None of these games are easy. There's literally not one. Vanderbilt's the easiest game. They're always scrappy.
Vanderbilt.
What bothers me,
they don't cheat though.
They don't cheat. No, they don't cheat. That's why they're so scrappy. They don't cheat. The thing that pisses me off about this Gamecock schedule, Tennessee comes to town right in the middle of our spring break. Literally the middle day. And that's the
Ah,
last
that's
home
annoying.
game.
That was like Purdue for us.
It's the last home game, too.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's tragic. But that's something we'll cross the bridge when we get there. How's Maryland doing? Are they back? Are they still back?
You've seen the tweets. So tonight we have Northwestern in an hour and a half, which again 9:00. Like I'm not even going to the game, and 9:00 sucks because I have to get up for work tomorrow. And I'm all in for this game. Like this is the gateway game. I don't know what a gateway game is. It's like they win this game all the way back in. We have Michigan State on Sunday at home. Like it's gonna be electric. It's gonna be the first game. Hopefully with students back. I don't know because classes don't start till Wednesday. So hopefully enough people are down here for the weekend to make that place rock. But Michigan State was supposed to be good, so there was probably gonna be a good crowd regardless. Gotta beat Northwestern tonight. They're underdogs. I don't even expect them to win, but man, if they can win tonight, they'll be 4-3 in conference play. Coming up on a home game, they have a chance to get back into the tournament conversation. And that's where we're at with this season. Is it's like
Let's just get in it. We just need to be talked
not winning
about.
anything.
We just need to be talked about.
Right? Yeah, right. If we can be on the bubble,
Yeah.
that would be a win
Yeah.
at this point. And it would show, like, it would give me more faith in Willard that even with a
Maybe
poorly
he is the
constructed
chiropractor.
roster- He is the chiropractor. He is. Yeah. At Michigan, they were down 12 at halftime at home. They're already at this point. They're 1-2 in conference play. Playing at home against Michigan, who's like probably the 12th worst team in the conference. They just lost to Minnesota, who's always dog shit. It's like this is people on the message boards were like, we have 7 more years of this Kevin Willard guy. Like we're screwed. We can't buy him out. We don't have the money to do it. Like we're literally screwed. And then I don't know what happens. They come back. Dante Scott shoots the lights out from 3. They come all the way back. They win by 7. Juju Reese is like him again.
I'm looking at the Illinois box score.
Yeah, they go on the road at number 10 Illinois. Got their best player suspended. But still number 10 Illinois. They beat Northwestern by 30. This is a good basketball team. They barely lost to Purdue. Wait, did they play Purdue? So, and Maryland comes in and they do what I've been begging for all season, which is just take the freaking ball to the rack.
Big boy basketball.
And they get it inside to Juju, and they just play tough. Like Deshaun Harris-Smith knows that he's been bad at shooting, but man, that dude can crash the glass like I've never seen a guard do. And that might be hyperbole, but he's literally like he's a dog. Like when you think of a dog in basketball, like you don't think of like a corner 3 specialist. Like you think of a guy that goes to the rim, blocks shots,
like smart.
gets rebounds, like just hustles. And that's what they have to do to win games. And if they can bring energy like that every night, then they could make the tournament. And like at least it's a culture thing. Like this is who we are. We're not a modern day basketball team. We're not Steph Curry and the Warriors. We're not going to shoot threes to win games. Like we're going to bully you inside as best we can. We're going to crash hard. Like we're going to press you. We're just going to make your life hell for 40 minutes. And you know, there's going to be plenty of games where we don't have enough talent to win, but there's going to be other games where we pull it out because the other team is soft. And that's what Illinois is every year. They're soft.
That was beautifully done.
Thanks.
That was beautifully done.
They do own Illinois. That's the other thing.
I wanted to bring up a point
Big Ten, it's actually pretty crazy.
that you mentioned, which was crashing the boards, playing big boy basketball. That is something that Carolina was missing a lot the past. It seems like since the SEC games have started, where they haven't had a consistent big man to rely on, and the whole offense changes when you have a consistent big man to rely on. Like when Juju Reese can get you 20 and 11, just the fact that he's a threat in the inside opens up all of your mid-range and three-point shooting. It opens up all the playmaking. And South Carolina does not, like, they have BJ Mack who has played center. They have Colin Murray Boyles, Murray Boyles, I think that's his last name, who's played center for them, but they're just big forwards. And they don't have Josh Gray has had a tough season. There hasn't been a lot of Verdonk minutes. I like the minutes that I get for Verdonk, but for some reason he doesn't get a lot of minutes. And then Stephen Clark, who I was talking about multiple times on this pod, he is now out of the starting lineup and just like not playing. So he's either starting or he's not playing, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. We need to find some consistency in the big men. And I should have mentioned that before, but you mentioned it. You mentioned some big men. And
it does. It matters so much in the college game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like having a guy down low.
There's a reason.
Literally just a guy, like an able-bodied man.
There's a reason why all these, what are they called? The Naismith Award players, like the best players in college football.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're all
always big men.
And they're always terrible in the NBA. They're always in the G League, and they're always like,
Luka Garza.
Look at the guy who won the national championship, the big center from UConn.
Yeah,
doesn't even get drafted, and he's
you could argue that he was the best player on that team.
Yeah, and he doesn't even get drafted. So, of course, it takes a lot, but you need a big man in there. You need some big bodies.
Oscar Tshiebwe.
Yeah, Oscar Tshiebwe, G League too. Didn't get drafted.
Yep.
It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's all in like the last 4 years.
And it's the difference is, I think the difference is just that it's not an even playing field, you know? The NBA is an even playing field. All these adults have the same, but if you have one big guy in college that's 7'2", you're just going to dominate everyone that comes in their way.
Until you go up against somebody smart that knows how to game plan for it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Like,
and
Julian Reese can't pass it.
Who?
When he gets double teamed, like Julian Reese, Illinois just didn't double him. If he could pass and they could shoot threes, which are two things that aren't true, they would be unstoppable. Do either of them.
I don't know much about D1 baseball, but are you guys ranked?
I don't think so. We lost our coach to Alabama.
Oh. Well, Alabama's 19. South Carolina's 25. I don't know much about college. I mean, they ended the last year 13, so I feel like that's a big drop. But I don't know. Let's see. Zach,
No, I know MLB.
No, that's fine. That does that cover everything? We hit on everything?
I think so. We're
Wait,
good.
So, Michigan. Yeah, you already mentioned Michigan State. Then Nebraska. 2 must-wins at home.
What?
Iowa. I'm looking at your Maryland team.
Are you looking at Maryland's schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go at Northwestern, Michigan State, Iowa, at Iowa, which is a loss. They'll never win in Iowa. And then Nebraska at home and at Michigan State.
What's going to happen next year when you have a 9 p.m. game in UCLA? These Maryland guys are going to get dogged. Get blown up by Oregon because the game's at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I think they'll just do like one West Coast trip. So like you'll go out and you'll play UCLA, USC, Oregon. You might not even play one of them.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
For a week. It'll be fun for the kids.
Yeah, I guess
California.
So. Yeah,
I've probably never been. I've never been to California. I might go out there.
Funny.
Who knows? Maybe I'll join them. Take a week off.
Funny, I guess moment that happened at the Gamecock game. You know, we're getting everyone's lining up. I'm right there, and there's Taylor and Cooper, T Coop, which our library, if it's anyone who's ever been a student here, is called Thomas Cooper Library. T Coop. Everyone calls it T Coop. So I'm looking at him, I'm cheering. I'm like, T Coop, the library. And Michi and him basically look at me and start laughing at each other. And I hear Michi go what the hell is the library? I was like, I forgot that these clowns have never stepped foot in the library and probably never will. And Riley, my former roommate, now future roommate, Riley, was with the game with me, and he's like, "Oh, he's only been here for like half a year. He just transferred." I was like, "Dude, if you're a student at the university, like it should be on the tour guide, is it not? In the package, like this is
Yeah,
Thomas
I
Cooper
knew the
Library."
code library before I
Yeah, exactly.
like ate school.
Yeah, honestly, I think I probably knew what T Coop
That's
was
so
the
funny.
first day, first hour of being there. It's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah, I'm
that's
sure
T
you
Coop.
did. Yeah.
But they
They're
looked at
probably
me.
like, oh, like this library has all this cool stuff
They were like,
that you will use as a student. Their tour is a lot different.
yeah, that's true. They're probably like I thought about it afterwards. I was like, I wonder if like every shot he was like, because he didn't have a good game, and if every shot he's like, why did that kid call me the library?
He's just so confused.
He's just like, why did he call me the library? I don't get it. All right, well that's all I got.
I will say that Jamie Kaiser on our team, my sister had a class with him, like a 9 a.m. class, and he went every day.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was here like, he shouldn't be going, like, he should be working on his jump shot. Why is he going to class?
You were the bad influence. You were the bad influence. You were like, why? You know how the kids are like,
stress management. I was like, okay, stress management. Yeah, like he's a freshman playing in the Big Ten. He needs stress management.
shouldn't.
But if it was some shit, I don't know, biology or stupid class like that, he doesn't need that.
Most people, it's like, shouldn't you
Be in the
guys?
gym.
You guys should be inside studying. It's late. Chris is like, why aren't you guys playing basketball?
Oh, no.
It's 8 a.m.
Like, just shoot free throws.
So yeah, that's that free throw 101.
It doesn't take any energy. Yeah, that's right.
Can I teach that course? Free throw 101.
Juju needs to take that course.
I
He's
need
a lot better. shooting
I
free
need to
throws,
take.
will say.
I need to take that course.
I have a good routine. I just don't make them. But if I practiced it for an hour every day instead of going to class, then I
Damn
could-
well. I was gonna say, damn well I'd be electric.
Except-
All right, we got a good hour 32 here. Thank you all for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed. We'll see everyone on Friday, 5 p.m. Of course, check our socials in case that changes, but should be good to go. And then enjoy your weeks. See everyone on Friday.